alive. Wait. There. Now I'm ready. I'm ready now.
Well done, my brave knight. Now, off with your head.
When David Lowry's The Green Knight ended, I didn't know what to think. But what if this ending is in response to these endings?
Hello, darkness, my old friend. Hey.
Keep with me. It's about to get complicated. From 1967 to the late 70s, the face of cinema changed completely. Stories got more complex, morally ambiguous, sexual and dark.
My sister and my daughter!
This change was not absolute. Many films were still very classically structured, but the films that were different were very different.
Shut up.
Born of the Virgin Mary, suffered under Pontius Pilate.
Unlike classical cinema narratives, which valued their own stories and always brought all the plot threads to their satisfying conclusions, post-classical cinema would intentionally give unsatisfying endings.
Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown.
A good example of classical narrative is one of the very first adaptations of the story of King Arthur, Knights of the Round Table, 1953.
I am Lancelot of the Lake, and by the faith of my body, I must know who you are.
I am Arthur Pendragon.
Arthur.
The film tells one of the oldest and best known parts of the story, the love affair of Sir Lancelot and Lady Guinevere, Arthur's wife.
Am I deceived, or do I scent a pair of royal turtle doves?
The evil knight Mordred tries to steal the throne from Arthur, and therefore he reveals to everyone the love affair of the good knight and the queen. Lancelot lives in shame and returns only to find Arthur dying after a battle with Mordred.
Go to Guinevere. Tell her. I love and forgive her.
The ending, in a very classical way, ties everything together. Lancelot tells Guinevere about how Arthur forgave them and goes on to fight and kill Mordred. Even a minor plot thread, like Galahad's search for the Holy Grail, gets happily resolved.
The cup. The cup.
In 1967, another version of the story came out, starring Richard Harris, Vanessa Redgrave and Franco Nero. The story is very similar, only Camelot is filled with
Camelot. Camelot.
Oh no, not in springtime. Summer, winter, or fall. Rule the jury for her shame. She be sentenced to the flame. If Venus called to one and all come taste delight while you may. The world is bright and all is right and life is merry and gay.
And how does it end? After Lancelot rescues Guinevere from burning for the crime of their affair, Arthur must go to war against Lancelot for his honor, even though he doesn't seem to care about the affair. In the last scene of the film, on the eve of the battle, a boy comes across Arthur and tells him of his admiration to the ideals of the Round Table.
Now tell me what you think you know of the knights and the Round Table.
I know everything, my lord. Might for right, right for right, justice for all. A round table where all knights would sit. Everything.
And the film simply ends. The ending is not as final as Knights of the Round Table, but maybe it's trying to end the story before Arthur's death and give us a happy ending. In 1974, a French version of the story was released, Lancelot of the Lake by Robert Bresson. A darker, more realistic, even hopeless take on the legend. The film ends with the battle of Arthur and Lancelot against the evil Mordred, but the film doesn't show us the battle, instead it shows us this. The narrative means nothing in the face of war and death. No happy ending, no resolved plots. A year later, a British comedy group had to go with the source material. The film doesn't have much to do with the poems about Arthur and his knights.
That is why I'm your king.
Listen, strange women lying in ponds distributing swords is no basis for a system of government.
It's basically a collection of medieval comedy sketches brought together only by a thin line of narrative thread.
Behold, Arthur, this is the Holy Grail. Look well, Arthur, for it is your sacred task to seek this grail. That is your purpose, Arthur. The quest for the Holy Grail.
A blessing from the Lord. God be praised.
If he will give us food and shelter for the night, he can join us in our quest for the Holy Grail.
Well, I'll ask him, but I don't think he'll be very keen. He's already got one, you see?
What? He says they've already got one.
Arthur, having consulted his closest knights, decided that they should separate and search for the Grail individually. Now this is what they did.
You are the keepers of the Holy Grail?
The what?
The Grail. It is here.
This could be the sign that leads us to the Holy Grail. Brave, brave Concord, you shall not have died in vain.
I'm not quite dead, sir.
You seek the Holy Grail.
That is our quest. You know much that is hidden, O Tim.
quite.
The ending of the film. Arthur finally finds the castle where the Holy Grail is kept, only to find it is guarded by French soldiers seen earlier in the
folk with
film.
your silly knees bent, running about, advancing behavior. I'll wave my private parts at your aunties, you cheesy lot of second-hand electric donkey-bottom biters!
Arthur calls on a great army and orders an attack. The battle and the film are brought to an abrupt end without resolving anything. Was the Holy Grail really inside the castle? Who cares? In these 4 films, made over the span of 22 years, we can see a change in the cinematic narrative form. The post-classical narrative was further developed in the 90s, with their non-linear stories and twist endings. All the way up until
Have at me, Green Knight.
I believe another change in narrative has appeared in the last few years. A sort of post-classical narrative. Maybe metaclassical is the best term for it. These films are very similar to the post-classical film. The story leads towards something, a conflict that must be resolved, only it doesn't.
No kill me, por favor, perdóname.
Don't leave. Help! Please! Help! Help!
The difference between the post-classical and the metaclassical film is that the former would end the film there, while the new narrative form goes on and keeps tracking the characters after they found out their conflict wasn't as important or simple as they thought.
I am so much happier now that I'm dead.
Nadie. Sorry.
Get the fuck out of LA. Disappear.
The Green Knight is based on the poem of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, one of the best-known texts of Arthurian legend. Gawain accepts a challenge by a mysterious green figure with a green axe.
Let whichever of your knights is boldest of blood and wildest of hearts step forth. Take up arms, and try with honor to land a blow against me. Whomsoever nicks me shall lay claim to this my arm. Its glory and riches shall be thine. But thy champ must bind himself to this. Should he land a blow, then 1 year and Yuletide hence, he must seek me out yonder, to the Green Chapel, 6 nights to the north. He shall find me there and bend a knee and let me strike him in return, be it a scratch on the cheek or a cut in the throat. I will return what was given to me.
Gawain cuts off the knight's head, but the knight picks it right up and rides off. A year later, Gawain must go on a quest to the Green Chapel and let the Green Knight pay him back with a similar blow. Gawain's mother gifts him with a magical piece of clothing that will keep him safe.
Wear it about your waist as you go. And if you wear it still, when you return...
Will I return?
When you return. you will come with your head held high. I promise you will not come to harm.
On his journey, Gawain faces all sorts of weird challenges.
I never said I was a knight.
But are you?
No, I'm not.
Oh, well, you look like one.
You are no knight.
And I think I can take it from you.
His masculinity and heroism are put to the test, but he manages to reach his target.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Then I shall get to hacking.
Wait!
Is this really all there is? Is this?
What else ought there be?
I'm sorry. I cannot. I'm sorry.
Gawain chickens out at the last second and runs away from the chapel. In a post-classical film, it would end around here, an unsatisfying conclusion to the plot that was presented. The Green Knight, however, continues. Gawain goes back home, but he doesn't tell anyone of his cowardice. His uncle, the king, makes him the next king. Gawain gives up on his love for a commoner and marries a noblewoman. He loses wars and his only son dies. When the enemy is at his gate, Gawain accepts his death. But then, the film goes back to the chapel. Only it plays a little different this time.
There. Now I'm ready. I'm ready now.
Metaclassical cinematic narrative isn't as positive and complete as the classical one, but it is also not as negative and anticlimactic as in the post-classical film. It's somewhere in the middle. Maybe a new generation of filmmakers has had enough of the nihilism of many films made in the last 50 years and have begun searching for meaning and positivity, while also being very aware of the faults of classic narrative and its blindness to different points of view.
Off with your head.
Be merry, sweet Lord, on this Julestide. I pray man.